My flights are usually half an hour or as long as it gets, especially for the very long multi-day paramotor adventures. I sometimes need to take extra fuel with me. I've tried all the options and I'll tell you which worked the best for me. Everything on an aircraft must have a reason. Ignore the status quo, imagine from scratch and build what you can justify with science. Fail 5 times to succeed once. This is how we innovate paramotors, and for you, understanding the science behind will make you a smarter pilot. The 12-liter tank is kind of standard for the Scout paramotor, and I like it very much because it's nicely hidden behind the pilot's body, not causing extra drag. There is also an option 17.4-liter tank, which is much bigger, really bulky, and comes down all the way down here, and the bottom of the tank is exposed to drag. I know many pilots don't care about it, but you know, I'm a paramotor designer, this is aviation, I like it nice and streamlined. So my preference is I fly with a 12-liter tank, and for the really long adventures, I'll take extra fuel in a separate container. You basically have two options, either a separate fuel tank or a fuel bladder. I prefer the fuel bladder. It's small, compact, easy to travel with, just better. This is the actual fuel bladder that I used on the Icarus Trophy roughly 6 years ago. 2,000 kilometers unsupported paramotor adventure stretched over 10 days. It worked great, very robust, easy to use. The only big disadvantage is this is coated with polyethylene, which is fuel resistant, but smells horribly. Really, driving a car with this in the back, it's painful. This is a new one that I used for the Wingman Challenge, which was another 2,000 kilometers unsupported paramotor adventure. And this one is coated with polyurethane on the inside, and it smells significantly less. Besides, I like it because it's kind of a better shape and it's a little bit easier to fill up, and it's more compact. Both of them are originally designed to contain water, but we tried them on fuel. This one actually contains fuel for 6 years. I tested this for 2 years. They're perfectly safe. On the Icarus Trophy, we had some issues with the cap, so we had to use a different one. This is not the original that comes with the bag. It's a separate, and this one works fine. The whole system is very simple. Obviously, you will need a fuel bladder. You will need a replacement cap for your fuel tank with the fuel lines, quick connector and 2 zip ties. There is no drilling into the fuel tank needed, no modification on your paramotor whatsoever, and you can remove it anytime you wish. The installation is also very easy. Just slide the fuel cap from the top to the fuel tank, connect the breather hose to the frame at the top, and connect the transfer hose to the gooseneck bar in front of you. The last step is to remove the cap, insert a new one. Preload a few rotations. Now get the thread in and tighten. That's it, ready to fly. The last thing to decide is where to place the fuel bladder on takeoff and in flight. On Icarus Trophy, that was the first time I used the fuel bladder. I had it hanging on these D-rings or the carabiners, not sure exactly. It was a great solution because it allowed me to lift the extra load of the fuel bladder as the last thing right before takeoff, when I was fully strapped in and prepared for launch. Now I have an even better solution. I simply use one of the Scout Adventure side bags. These are these side bags that go over the gooseneck bar. They're universal, they fit any paramotor with gooseneck bars. Simply open the zipper, put the bag in, and go flying. The way the system works is very, very simple. You take off with the setup prepared, and once you consume half of your fuel tank, you are ready to transfer the fuel from the bladder into the main tank. Simply open the zipper, locate the fuel connector, connect it to the transfer hose, squeeze the bladder to run the fuel through the hose, and the rest will be done by gravity through the siphon. It takes about 5 minutes for the 6 liters of fuel to flow by gravity into the main tank, and that's it. There's another cool feature of this system that I use on the Wingman Challenge Paramotor Adventure. Sometimes we're not able to land right next to the gas station, and instead of carrying the whole paramotor to the gas station and back, I only walked with the fuel bladder, refilled, came back to the paramotor and transferred the fuel into the main tank like that. Even if I had to do 2 runs with the fuel bladder, it was always more comfortable than walking the long distance with the whole paramotor on my back. For the really adventurous pilots, there is another modification you could do. You can add one of these quick connectors right above the fuel tank, and this will allow you to loosen this strap and remove the fuel tank and carry the fuel tank to the gas station if you want. So I never really had the need for that, but it might be a useful feature. You can get those quick connectors together with the fuel bladder and the side bag on our e-shop. So what are the cool adventures you could do with a little bit of extra fuel? Let me know. I'm personally interested for inspiration, and who knows, I might even join you.